a fairly large snake out here earlier. So if you see me looking around, it's not because I'm running from the cops. I'm trying to do some work here, clearing all this out. That's a story for another day. So I wanted to share my thoughts on American conservatives. My honest, nonpartisan view of basically my observations, right? You know, when I listen to American conservatives, just regular people, online and offline, and I listen to right-wing media, from what I've observed, it appears to be two groups of people who have very different opinions and objectives, which is interesting because let them tell it, the audience, the regular people, and the real difference of opinions is between themselves and the left. But I see a huge divide between right-wing media and their audience, right? So I guess I'll start with right-wing media. Right-wing media, I see overwhelmingly seems to be a group of opportunists and parasites and self-interested individuals who are part of the Anything for Views clan. They will say anything and do anything to get more clicks, even if it puts the country in danger, even if it puts, you know, their own family members and friends in danger. As long as they're making money and they're, you know, doing their thing financially, that's all that seems to matter. Then I look at the audience and I see people who are being manipulated, and I really don't normally hear unique or original points of view or perspectives. I mean, the stuff that a lot of right-wingers say, it's straight out of the mouths of their influencers and right-wing media. So it's like basically right-wing media represents their thought leaders, right? So right-wing media comes up with these ideas and pushes out these, you know, certain rhetoric, and you know they know how to snake watch. They know how to phrase things in a way to emotionally appeal to their audience and get the audience all wound up. And then when I engage with them, they're pretty much just giving out the same talking points that are given to them. So it's not like they sat down and did their own research and came to their own conclusions, their own ideas. It's the same talking points, right? I mean, you hear a regular American talking about wide open borders or open borders, right? Talking point that came straight down from elite Republican Party, right? This is not a common man thing. This is something that's been promoted by elites in the Republican Party. It's promoted in right-wing media, and it really has not much basis in, I don't want to get bitten by a snake. It really has not much basis in reality. But the most important thing I want to focus on, however, is how disingenuous right-wing media seems to be. When I listen to the loudest voices who push the conservative ideology, they really don't seem to really believe the things that they're saying. I'm not saying that's the case for everyone. Obviously, there are some people who are the real deal, who really believe the things that they're saying. But overwhelmingly, they seem to be very disingenuous. and it's like they're characters on TV. Now, because they are so good at their jobs, a conservative listening to me right now is probably thinking, and think about the fact if I'm correct, is probably thinking right now, look at this moron. He doesn't seem to realize that liberal media does it too, or left-wing media does it too. I do, which is why I call it on my channel. But what does that have to do with the fact that right-wing media is doing it? And that's what I'm talking about right now. This video, the point of this video is I'm giving my comments on how I see the American right wing, and I've divided them into the instigators or the influencers, right? Whether political or these online influencers, which is kind of almost the same thing today. But that's what this video is about. So the left could do it as well. They could do it even more than the right? That still would have no bearing on the points that I'm making here. So, I was listening to Megyn Kelly. She did a video. She did an interview with Bill. Oh my goodness, I got too much going on right now. I'm just gonna say she a centrist liberal talk show host. Is it Bill Maher? Yeah. Anyway, I'm listening to her talk, and she's just like, "Oh, it's woke. Everything is woke, and this is woke." And I'm just like, she doesn't believe what she's saying, man. Right? And then, I mean, some of it may be, but then when Bill Maher makes some good points about the threats that Donald Trump represents, her explanations defy her intelligence. I've seen her ability to think and analyze things, right? So she's not an idiot. I know what she's capable of. So when I hear her saying ridiculous things like what did she say? Bill Maher's talking about one of the dangers of Donald Trump is how he, tried to stay in power and try to overturn the election or whatever. And then she has a response back and says, her rebuttal to that, saying why that's not an issue, is Snake Watch. Is saying that he wasn't successful. I really don't think that Megyn Kelly is that stupid as a grown woman with her intelligence to suggest that Trump trying to stay in power is not that big of a deal because he tried to do it the last time and it didn't work out for him. I really don't think. I mean, I think she knows better than that, and she's really just pandering to her audience, right? It's really hard for me, like the biggest talking points that we hear coming from the right, it's really difficult for me to see someone who is like an influencer of some sort, politically or, on social media. It's hard for me to find somebody like that who seems to be genuine. You know what I mean? Because what I see is really not really a difference of opinion. Because again, I don't think that they actually believe the things that they're saying, right? You look at the biggest voices, whoever it is that's getting all the airtime, whether it's from Nick Fuentes to Rudy Giuliani to even Trump himself, Jim Jordan, Megyn Kelly, the Fox 5 people. Like Fox 5, I think is a great example because all of them, where they talk, it's all like, "Oh, just kidding, bro." It's like it's supposed to be funny and it's a joke and they're like trolling and, you know what I mean? Like it's. Let me put it this way. I would much rather if American conservatives were not so much a myth, if we really had actual conservatives where I could actually disagree with them, right? Because, if you really believe in small government and you believe that we're getting taxed too much and you think all these sort of socialized programs, there's too much of them and it's hurting inflation, whatever, it is, you know, I disagree with you on a lot of that, but that's fine, right? I don't have an issue with a difference, right? The people believe that, conception, what is it, life starts at conception or something like that. So in their view, once someone is conceived, they're like a person. So like any kind of abortion, like basically abortion never becomes something that's okay. A lot of left-wing people will be, they'll talk about how right-wingers are savage, but they themselves will be savage in this topic, right? Savage in that they just hide behind the rhetoric of it's a woman's body and blah, 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 blah. And they don't really spend any time at all really thinking about, the points being made. I appreciate that they probably observe, as I do, that a lot of the loudest voices are not serious actors. But regardless, I don't think they really even think that much about this differing perspective, right? That's not me, right? I recognize that point of view, and whether it comes from religion or not, I can appreciate that we have a disagreement on that. That's not an issue, right? The issue I have is where, again, the loudest voices in terms of people that agree with your ideology don't agree with you. And I think to me that says something. But the thing about it is, of course, the average conservative doesn't recognize this. And I know it's because it's like emotional, right? They get caught up in the emotions of the rhetoric, and then now they're not really thinking logically. They're just thinking emotionally. Like there's a repulsion to like, oh, the left has gone too far, wokeness, whatever. They're not really thinking about it. But because I don't have that emotional connection, I can actually listen to a Megyn Kelly and look in her eyes and look at her body language, listen to the things that she's saying, cross-reference it with things that she's said in other times in terms of recognition of her intelligence and her critical thinking skills, and then recognize that this woman is smarter than she appears here, and what she's saying doesn't make any sense, and she sounds like she's acting, right? That's what I keep seeing. When I look at right-wing influencers, I look at them as actors. Now, if you want to talk about the left wing, I certainly see that in left-wing influencers as well, but not to that degree. I think for the most part, the stuff that they put out, let's say the left-wing audience and the left-wing influencers generally kind of believe the same thing. So the influencers are not unlike the right-wing media, not just saying stuff for clicks. They actually believe generally in what they're saying. The problem that I see with them is that the left-wing influencers, not unlike the right-wing influencers, they're kind of disconnected. It's kind of like the worse things are for us, the more money they make, right? So they're not sort of in it with us, in the same way, right? So while they may believe in the things that they're talking about, they're not really serious about it. And they may pretend to be more serious about it than they actually are. So it's like they're saying something that they believe in, but they don't really care about it, but then they pretend to care. Like they'll pretend to be outraged about something. But again, there's honesty behind it, right? So it's like, if they believe that, incomes are too low, people are struggling because they don't make enough money. Like they really believe that, and they'll put that out there, but they don't really care about it, right? Because the way they're making their money is, they're not just working a regular job, right? So they're able to live pretty comfortably. So they will go on their shows and pretend to be like, oh my goodness, Joe Biden, he betrayed us and blah, blah, blah. But to me, it's like, that's just putting on a show, for their show, for the money. Versus a right-winger, to me, will push out talking points and rhetoric that they know is nonsense. They know it's lies. They don't believe in it at all. Right? So it's not a matter of like they actually believe the things that they're saying, but they're pretending to actually care. No, I don't. It's like they neither care nor believe in a lot of stuff that they're saying, right? The only people who really believe. So the main things that you see coming from the right wing, the overwhelming majority of the people that actually believe in those things are audience members, right? It's the people that are watching right-wing media that genuinely believe in a lot of the talking points that are fed to them by these elites in media and the politicians. But the main voices, the people with the platforms, overwhelmingly to me, do not believe in a lot of stuff that they're saying. Even Badarama, I think she's so crazy that she perhaps believes a lot of crazy stuff. But I think even her, a lot of what she says, she doesn't actually believe in, right? She does believe in, I think, a good amount of it. But I think some of the stuff, she's intentionally lying and manipulating her audience. So that's my honest view, honest perspective. What's the solution? I don't know. No conservative, almost, is going to watch a video like this and be like, I never looked at it that way. And he has some points there, and like, rethink things. And I think the main reason for that is because once somebody gets into an emotional state, facts and evidence and logic, that's not the solution, right? Imagine a woman who's dating a guy who's abusive to her, and she insists that he actually loves her, right? You breaking down facts and evidence and logic about how he actually doesn't care for her, it's not going to really have that much of an impact, right? It's going to in one ear and out the other, and she's going to have excuses and move the goalpost and deflection and it's going to be all kinds of games, and that's going to be the response to any conservative listening to what I'm saying. It's that I watch too much liberal media. I'm the one that's being manipulated. I'm blind. I don't know what I'm talking about. How can I read people's minds? You name it, right? The things that the media, like, they may be dishonest or whatever, but they are real things. They are real big issues, and they're really important issues, and I don't get that. Again, if that's even remotely what you're thinking right now, think about why that may be, right? And at least acknowledge that I'm not totally off base. Apparently, I'm not totally off base. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I want to get out of here because I ain't trying to get bitten by a snake. I'm good. I'm really tempted. I'm really tempted to. I'm tempted to repurpose this stuff. This stuff is really hard and solid. I have a garden, and I need something to build a fence with. I just don't want this stuff to grow again. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe this stuff is crazy. You see the forest it's created over here. I don't want to step anywhere that's near something that might be like a hiding space. I'm thinking maybe I can. The main thing is contact with soil, right? That's how this stuff, lives again. I'm thinking maybe if I wrap the bottom of it, the part that goes into the dirt, I can prevent it from, growing again. I don't know. The idea would be to just take one of these. If I fall on camera, this is going to be not good. Ooh, wrap that. Okay. So I'm going to take. Not creepy yet. But anyway, take one of these and cut it up. Make 4 pieces out of this. Put like a chain, some kind of mesh net around it or something. I don't know, but I was thinking put something around the bottom so that it doesn't actually make contact with the soil. I don't know. That's my idea. I'll definitely want to cut off these leaves, that's for sure. I don't know how aggressive this stuff is, but I know you definitely don't want any leaves of something that you don't want to grow to get in contact with the soil. So anyway, let me put this away before I fall.